Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Twilight Zone review. Today it is Season 5, Episode 11, A Short Drink from a Certain Fountain, written by Rod Serling and starring Patrick O'Neill as Harmon Gordon, Ruta Lee as Flora Gordon, and Walter Brooke as Dr. Raymond Gordon. This is a great example of a perfectly average Twilight Zone episode. The premise is decent, it's interesting enough, and the episode is somewhat entertaining to watch. The acting's pretty good as well. But unfortunately, there's a couple elements in the execution of this episode that aren't completely convincing, and the end doesn't totally work for me either. But it's one of those things, if you don't analyze it too much, I guess it's okay. So I'll get right into the episode. We start with one of our main characters, Flora, and she's dancing by herself. And she's pretty good, I have to say, considering she's dancing by herself. It's interesting enough. And her husband, Harmon, comes in. And he starts to dance with her, but it turns out that he gets tired very, very quickly, and we can tell right away that he is quite a bit older than she is. So that's the setup for our episode, and it's interesting enough. And they talk, and you can tell that Flora's just not very happy, and she's not very nice either. She's pretty mean to this guy. She's pretty crabby, and my question is, if she's so upset, why did she marry him to begin with? We also found out that while she was dancing around, and it appeared she was drinking some as well, that she broke something that meant something to Harmon, and that she shows no remorse at all for this. She says it wasn't worth anything anyway, so we can see that she's more worried about the monetary value of something, and it obviously had some sentimental value to him, but she doesn't care at all. So we see how she is, and just that their marriage isn't that great in general, and we can tell that age is a big part of the problem in this marriage. So Rod Serling in his opening narration says that Harmon needs to find the fountain of youth, which is interesting enough. So we go back to the next scene in the episode, and Flora is yelling yet again at Harmon, and he calls his brother, Dr. Raymond is his name, and his brother comes over, and Harmon's laying his problems on him, and we find out that Raymond doesn't like Flora at all. He insults her with a few pretty good insults, I have to say, and he says, "Don't keep calling me about your problems with her. What do you want me to do about it?" basically is what he says. And they chat for a while, and they get to talking about this youth serum that the doctor's been using to experiment on some animals with, and Harmon is interested in trying it on himself to make himself younger. Raymond says no way, it's not foolproof yet or anything, we don't know how it will affect a human. So Harmon pleads with him, but Raymond's not having any of it. But when he's about to leave, he sees Harmon outside, and Harmon's pretty desperate. He's pretty down, and who knows what he'll do if he doesn't get to try this. So basically, Raymond reluctantly agrees to let his brother try it. So we go to the second half of the episode, and it appears that Harmon has taken this formula. I'm not sure how, but it appears he's taken it. And Raymond's still worried about it, what the effects are going to be. And Harmon says, well, I'll be the first patient you've had that can let you know what happens. So Flora is back, this lady, and Raymond comes by and they chat. And Flora's really mean to him. I can see why Raymond doesn't really like her too much. And Harmon comes out, and he looks a lot younger. But Flora is shocked. She says, why do you look so young now? And Harmon says, I'm feeling good, let's go on a trip. So Flora likes this, she's really excited, and I gotta say, she's all over this guy, which is kind of interesting. I guess she did just want him younger. And Raymond is concerned. He says, you shouldn't go on any trips for a while till we see the full effects of what this is. So Flora leaves for a minute, and we find out that Harmon is still getting younger and younger, and he says, when will it stop? And Raymond says, I don't know. So Flora's now worried about this, and we go to the next scene, and Raymond tells Flora, Harmon's resting in bed, you can see him, in a little while. And then he tells her, you're going to have to change the way you do some things. So Flora's still worried about it. She goes in the bedroom, and I think we can all figure out what happened by this point. Probably a little harder to figure out in the time period this was made, but of course Flora's shocked, and Harmon is now a little baby, and Flora says, I'm out of here, I'm not going to stay. And Raymond tells her, if you do leave, you leave with nothing except the clothes you have on now. So she's basically stuck there taking care of him. And of course, the part about this that's really kind of like poetic justice, if you want to say, is that now as he grows, he'll be a lot younger, Harmon, and she will grow older and older, and she will be the older one. So she basically kind of gets what's coming to her, but there's some problems with the ending. to this. I guess if you just go with it, it's satisfying, but isn't there a way she could get out of this? Like, couldn't she still have someone on the side who's going to make sure that she takes care of this baby? You know, there's some shaky things about the end of this episode that don't really work totally logically for me, but the episode is entertaining enough, and the pacing's is a little bit strange in this episode as well. The beginning is kind of long, and then he abruptly just ages very quickly. But like I said, the episode is average. There's not anything terrible about it, just some loose ends here and there that I questioned a little bit. So overall, I give A Short Drink from a Certain Fountain a 2.5 out of 5. It's an average episode. It's fine if you want to watch it. It's okay. So 2.5 out of 5 for A Short Drink from a Certain Fountain. And as always, thank you very much for watching.